Bear with me here a little bit, folks. I'm a disaster. What's going on, Summer? How you doing? Just bear with me here. I'm a little bit of a mess. Today was just not a good day at all. Not a good day at all. Figure I might as well I'm probably going to be up all night. So, this may not be a very happy live stream. Usually I like to be on the up and up with my viewers and stuff like that, but what's going on, Brad? How you doing, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Go Fuck Yourself to Relationships Day. That's the kind of mood I'm in right now. Got this fucking woman torpedoed Valentine's Day for me. What happened? It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing with women. Like their commands, their demands. They want to do what they want, how they want. You know, they want to be in fucking control of everything. You know, I run a small business out of my home. If you're new to the channel, you know, I have a small business that I run right here at home. You know, and I don't go to bars. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. I'll have my occasional wine once in a while. You know, I'll have a beer or two once in a while. You know, I don't fucking go out or anything like that. You know, over the years, like, you know, I've settled down and relaxed, man. But these women are just out of control. They're completely out of control. I should smoke cigarettes and weed. I'm too health conscious these days to, you know, turn back now at this point. But yeah, man, it's just fucking out of control. I woke up maybe like 2.5 hours ago. I was sitting with a bunch of people I normally wouldn't sit with and bought a case of beer, and everybody else had beer and just drank up a storm. And I came straight home here and went right to sleep. Went right to sleep for a couple hours. So I'm going to be up all night. I can see tonight's going to be a very long night for me. But this woman, she torpedoed my Valentine's Day, man. I had chocolates for her. I bought steaks to cook for us and food and everything, and she just didn't even fucking bother. I ended it. Very sad that it's never enough, that these women, they just want what they want. They want to do whatever they want. And it's always at the man's expense. Always. Always, always, always. It's always at the man's expense. And it's not right. It's not right. You know, I typically keep to myself. You know, I don't go out to bars. I don't go out to restaurants unless I go to the pizza shop around the corner, or I'll go to Outback or one of the local Hispanic restaurants out of here. You know, I'm a homebody. I stay home. You know, I'll stay here on a property with friends of mine. You know, I'll be out on my patio, on my porch, sitting by myself. It's just fucking ridiculous. Thanks a lot, Brad. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, you know, do me a solid and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so. If you want to help to support the channel, I do have an eBay store. I sell baseball cards and other things. The link is in the chat. Shameless eBay over. So, yeah, I know I'm not the only one going through this kind of stuff, man. I've been talking about this the last couple days, and now that Valentine's night is here, I feel so fucking let down and betrayed. You know, a whole bunch of us, like I said, there's certain people I never sit with and don't drink with. And I saw a group of people sitting outside today, and I said, you know what, man, I bought a case of beer and we pooled our resources and just drank up a storm. I brought whatever was left home and filled up my fridge, and had a little something to eat, so I'm not like all like blah 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 blah, and went to sleep like around maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Woke up like around 8:30 tonight. Valentine's is ruined, completely ruined. They got me 2 cans of sugar-free Red Bull in here, but I'm so tempted to dive into that beer and that wine. I usually don't double dip after drinking throughout the day. I mean, I really I've calmed down with all that drinking stuff over the years, man. But just today, like you can feel it in the air. Yeah, it's just me, unfortunately. It's just me. I'm at that age. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be 49 in April. I'm at that age where like you have enough of people's bullshit and nonsense. I don't mind people breaking my chops and all that sort of thing. But the older I get, like the fucking the worse it feels to have to deal with people and their nonsense and human nature and the letdowns, the deceptions, the lies, the betrayals. And yet again with this woman, it's like, I was treating her good. And then she sent me like these insulting messages. Oh, you cook me food. So what? I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So what? You got $60 in your pocket to shell out for steaks and another $30 or $40 to shell out for vegetables and the trimmings and side dishes and food for breakfast that I cook, and all that stuff. It's like you can't treat women right. I guess you have to punch a woman in her face. Is that how it works these days? What do you have to do these days? Do you have to punch them in their face or backhand them for them to actually? Is that how it works? Is everything in this world is fucking backwards as it is already? And you can't be a fucking old school, old fashioned gentleman with them at all. She's a boss bitch. She wants to be in charge. She wants to be in charge. I put it to an end. All I've been doing all day is, shamefully fucking, I broke my fast today because of her. That my Valentine's Day is fucking ruined. It sucks. It really sucks. Boxes of chocolates are now part of the North Carolina landfill. At least I got steaks in my refrigerator that I can cook for myself. I got food up and down to last me for weeks. You know what I mean? But it's just like these fucking women. You can't be a good guy. They want the I see what these women look for outside my door. What kind of guys they want to be with. I'm fully independent, beholding to no one. I run a business out of my home. I take care of my home as best I can, even though it's not a big place. It's still mine. I'm not a cellar dweller. I don't live with mommy and daddy. Yeah, nice guys always finish last, man. It's always been like that with me and these women. It's like what happened with me last year with my ex, with that ex. And this time around, I have one of my good friends here where I live has been telling me, you're a good guy, you take care of yourself and all that stuff, give yourself a chance. And I tried to give myself another chance, and it was the same shit. It's the same thing. Their commands, their demands, trying to push me to leave my home. You know what it takes for me? What it would take for me to leave this apartment? I just re-signed my lease recently. With certain things that happened last year, I'm not going to get into certain details, but I'm on good terms with the people around here, given my reputation that I've got. It's just there are some sour feelings still. But, when is it enough? Yeah, you're a nuked. Goodbye. So, yeah, I got to go into the spam filter and filter out some stuff. As a matter of fact, tonight, give me a second here, folks. I meant to do this. Do I have a dog or a cat? No, I'm not that desperate to have a pet. I'm not a boxed wine woman or a guy or whatever the fuck It's not my style, man. You know, I'm into my jerseys. You know, like this channel, myself, you know, it's mostly about collecting and collecting spaces, collecting jerseys, hats, sneakers, sports cards, you know, talking about the issues of buying and selling on eBay. Like right now, I'm negotiating with a couple people for this, you know, to sell this card. But let me go into my spam filter here. There's a couple things I want to change quick. Where is that here? Yeah, I can't stand that dumb shit. Because I've been seeing the same trash. Give me a minute here. Am I looking at this right? Is this true? 1,500 subscribers as of this live stream, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. 1,500 subs. Who would have thought? Thank you, everybody, for helping me to reach the 1,500 subscriber barrier. Thank you very much for that. I just want to just add some terms to the spam filter. All right, cool. Yeah, because, you know, I've been getting, you know, I mean, trolls are going to happen, man. Trolls are going to find their way onto everybody's channel, but certain things I'm not going to allow on this channel. I don't play that race nonsense. But anyway, yeah, fellas, it's a real shame these days. Like guys like me, you know, I made plenty of mistakes in my life. I think I've paid for those mistakes 10 times over, even though I've had to suffer other people's bullshit throughout my life, and people will label that as narcissism, but it's not. I've put myself out in the line of fire for too many people for fucking far too long. You know, like last year, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but somebody did something really awful here on the property where I live. And I defended my neighbors, and they were looking to not renew my lease. And then it got real ugly for a while. You know, my ex-girlfriend accused me of shit I never did. I sat in a jail cell for 4 nights, and all the charges were dropped because there was nothing there, because of all the bullshit she made up. And she was here illegally on a fucking Honduran passport or whatever the fuck it is. I still have copies of it. And my dad died. I had money stolen out of my bank account twice last year. It was a fucking nightmare last year. You know, and it's like I want a break. Like, I just need a break. Like, I'm at that age. Like, enough is enough, man. I had enough. I had enough of shit. That's why I started this channel. This channel is like a giant distraction for me. Talking about jerseys, talking about baseball cards, talking about Transformers toys, talking about issues in the hobby, talking about sneakers. It's like, fuck, man. You know, and with this girl, I had everything all set up for her days ago. And then all of a sudden, I get insulted. Oh, you cooked me a couple of plates of food. You have to move out. You know what it is for me to move out of this apartment? First, I have a small business. I have to move my business out of here to another address and fill out the paperwork to do all of that stupid stuff. And to break my lease before my lease is up, I have to pay almost 2 to 3 times the rent just to break the lease. And then I have to have 2 times the rent. Where's all this money coming from? And they think, oh, you could do it. Sure, you're a man. Bullshit. That's not how it works. You know, I'm actually making a concerted effort to take $1 here, $2 there, $5 here. I want to get a new car. That's one of my goals. I want to get a new car because the car I got, man, it's falling apart at the seams, and I'm not wasting any more money getting it repaired. I have to get it inspected, though, before the end of next month. But, you know, I'm at that point that's like, man, all I do all day, I work on my business. I keep to myself. I keep my apartment really clean. Sometimes, you know, you let it go when you get overwhelmed with stuff. You know, I'll sit on my patio by myself. I'll go talk to some of my neighbors here just to get some fresh air. Like I keep to myself these days, man. It's not like it was 15, 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, man. You know, them days of being a wild child are over. Like I'm done playing games anymore. You know, my dad, when he was alive, he told me this, he told me all of this stuff. He's like, you're gonna reach a point where you reach I don't give a fuck status. I don't want to care. He reached a point where he was unapologetic about who he was. You know, he liked what he liked. You know, he liked his old school TV shows, his Quincy, his war movies. You know, he liked his James Bond. He liked his Star Trek. He liked all that kind of stuff, man. You know, he was a steak eating carnivore. You know, and I hear his voice. I hear his voice resonating in my mind during days like this. Where he's like, wait. He would tell me, wait until you get older. You're gonna see. When you get older and you get wiser, and then you look back at your younger days, you're gonna be like, holy shit, look how far I've come. And the people around you, you're gonna start noticing things you never noticed before. I'm a quintessential cynic to begin with anyway. I don't trust anybody. Human nature, unfortunately, over the years has taught me don't trust anyone. Don't trust anybody for any reason. The only one you can depend on is yourself. And unfortunately, like I become an isolationist in a lot of ways that way because I can't trust anybody. And yet again, here we are, Valentine's Day, where I had everything all set up and I thought everything was going to be nice and romantic, and it turned out to be a shit show. And I said, "Fuck it." I picked up. I took some money out of my business account and said, "Fuck it." I bought a case of beer and sat with people I normally wouldn't fucking drink with. Came home, slept for a couple hours, and now here I am live streaming. And I can pick up right where I left off. I got the whole door is filled with fucking beer. You know, I'm lucky. I'm lucky these days if I drink a beer a week. You know what I mean? Right? That's why I'm defaulting to my sugar-free Red Bulls, like always, which is like the unofficial drink of the channel. But I know a lot of you guys are going through the same thing that I am, man. You know, my most recent live streams, the subject comes up quite a bit. You know, yeah, that's exactly it. Don't get drunk. I mean, you know, I drank myself to the point today where I could see it's time to go home. You know what I mean? Not to the point where I'm like all that kind of stuff, but you know, to the point where I'm like, I think I've satisfied my thirst. You know what I mean? To the point where I don't want to get dumb. Come home, you know, have some food and just sleep it off. You know, and again, I got a big ass bottle of Merlot sitting right here that can go down real quick if I wanted to, and I'm trying not to. Really trying not to. Maybe I will. I don't know, man. It's really fucking awful. It's so awful that this is the way it is these days for us guys. You know, if the me that I am now versus the me that I was about 10 or 20 years ago, it was a complete contrast, you know, and as I've gotten older, I've got wiser even to this. It's easy to go on a bender, or what the English call a top up. But even today, it reached a point where it's like, okay, you know, I've satisfied the thirst, got my frustrations out. You know, it's time to go home. You know, time to go home and just relax and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I don't drink these days. Like I don't drink to the point where like I black out or anything like that. I try not to. I've kind of taught myself these days, especially with the way I take care of my health. You know, I've talked about that here on the channel with the blood sugar and everything else. As a matter of fact, paperwork came today. As a matter of fact, man, I got a ton of tests I'm supposed to do. My doctor's going to be pissed. But you know, you reach a point where like, you know, your hobbies and your distractions and your favorite TV shows and your, you know, all that stuff, it can only distract you for so long before it's ridiculous. So this is another one here. Let me Yeah, I take care of my health. I got all new. I've actually changed my supplement regimen now. I take that P5P, the natural B6. I've noticed a huge change since I got off of the off the shelf CVS Walmart B6. That is the pyridoxine HCl, I believe they call it. So if you take the what is it? Pyridoxal or pyridoxine 5. Ah, shit, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But basically, the natural B6. I've noticed a huge change within the past, I think, week or two when I switched over. Yeah, he was my age, man. Yeah, he died from like colon cancer or something like that. My grandma died of that stuff. Let me just let me go back here again quickly. Yeah, what's his name? Vanderbeek. Something Vanderbeek. Let me because I get tired of seeing. Let me also do this. Because I know that'll be another term or terms that'll come up. Yeah, as I know this is usually the time that the fucking trolls start coming out of the woodwork. So but thank you guys. I'm looking at my channel dashboard over here. 1,500 subs. Thank you everybody for helping me reach that landmark. Much appreciated for that. The channel grew since Christmas time. I'm like, geez, man. No, I listen, at this point in time, I'm so focused on myself these days and focused on the business and focused on just taking care of what I got to take care of. Like little by little, I've been putting $1 here, $5 there, $2 there. I'm trying to save up for a car. I've been selling baseball cards like mad. I actually got 2 orders sitting right there tonight, and I've been negotiating to part with this guy. That's the San Francisco version of the Barry Bonds auto I pulled here on the channel. I've had a lot of interest over on eBay for this card, but I've been lowballed by a couple people, but I have been in contact with a couple collectors that know their shit. You know what I mean? And hoping to negotiate a price for this. And I might sell my other big boy cards. I really want to get myself a new car. Like that's what I'm really focused on. Well, not a new car, but I definitely want to get a Toyota again, man, because the Ford that I got outside, it's breaking down. But yeah, I don't give a shit about them anymore. As far as I'm concerned, they're beneath me. It's a waste of time even bothering with it. It's the internet. I really don't care at this point. I got many more important things to worry about. I really don't care. I'm focused on me. Yeah. You know what it is, dude. Um, after everything I went through last year, this year, right out of the gate, I've got things worked out with certain people here because of what happened with that asshole that did what he did here on the property. And I had a big discussion with people, and they had like a little get together during the week. I went to the leasing office 3 times last week. The first day, I went in there with my batting helmets, my Mets and Yankees batting, because I had like a sporting thing that they were doing, and brought a bunch of my collectibles and jerseys and all that. Yeah, exactly that issue. And yeah, that's all been smooth over already. They were more upset at the fact that I didn't get them involved with everything, that I kind of took the ball into my own hands, which in a way, they're kind of right with that, but at the same time, at the spur of the moment, they have to see things from my point of view. What do you do in that situation? You know what I mean? Do you just stand there and let somebody get hurt? Or do you do what you have to do to try to save somebody's life? But there were details. You know what it is? They were getting input from the grapevine, but they never heard it directly from me. And that's where everything got sour. So once I sat down, I think I sat with the big boss lady there for like an hour or two, and I went through all the paperwork with my lease and signed everything, and we had a big conversation about this, which I'm not going to get into. There's no NDAs or legal paperwork. It's just, certain things I want to keep close to the chest. I've kind of learned when you're on social media to keep certain things close. And, I will say that, they were more disappointed that I didn't get them involved with all of this, because it could have been handled a little bit more closely, so, we had our words and everything is okay and everything is cool and what have you, and then they had this little thing during the week, and I said, you know what, man, let me break the ice. I actually bought all the girls in the office a big bottle of this oak leaf. I mean, yeah, it's Walmart wine. Who gives a shit? But, it's the gesture. I said, let me break the ice. I bought them all a bottle of wine. I think I bought 3 bottles of wine. One of the maintenance guys, he's a big New York Mets fan, gave him a Brett Beatty autograph out of 150 from 2023 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. One of the other maintenance guys, I bought him, a couple bottles of soda that he wanted because he was out there shoveling. I was actually breaking his chops in the office the other day, telling the big boss lady, Mr. Snowman over here, give this man a raise, because he was busting his ass, all day with the machine there, blowing away the snow here on the property. In other words, like, just doing what other people refuse to do. And that's just sit at the negotiating table and sit down and talk. You know what I mean? I just read that comment right there. One of them really is. One of them really is like, well, the women there, they're probably watching this. I know they watch my channel, and so do the maintenance guys too. Every woman has her sexy. Every woman has her beautiful about her. You know what I mean? I know I tend to criticize and lash out a little bit, and sometimes it comes a little off kilter, but every woman has their beauty. Every woman has their sexy and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? All it takes is just to see a woman laugh at a bad joke coming from us guys, And when I walked in there with them bottles of wine, you could see like, whoa, you know what I mean? But it was for the best to kind of like just be professional, not be a jerk, not be a jackass. So day one that they had their little theme in there, I brought in my Mets and Yankees helmets that I restored. Brought in some of my player jerseys, some of my replicas. I mean, I just got this recently, unfortunately. It didn't come on time. I brought my New York Yankees ID card, which is up there by my dad's photo, as a matter of fact. When I worked at the new Yankee Stadium, when they were still building that thing, that's one of several ID cards. I wonder what my mother did, because I gave my dad a couple copies of these, to have. And he was proud. He never thought I'd work on a new Yankee Stadium. I told him one day, watch, and there it is from Almar Plumbing when I was working in the union. I worked on a lot of the concession stands, doing the finish work and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I brought that. I brought some jerseys. I brought, the 2 batting helmets and whatnot. And we took photos, and they took photos, which is cool. Then the next day, they were having like a Western theme. So I had my cowboy hat, my leather cowboy hat, the leather shirt and the leather pants with the boots and everything like that, and walked in there, and the girls had their cowboy hats and denim vests. It was pretty cool, and took some photos with the girls. And then Wednesday, technically the office is closed on Wednesday, but I saw the big boss lady walking outside. It was like a themed day between the 50s to like the early 2000s. So you could have did the 1970s bell bottoms and the afros, and you could have did the 80s short shorts like guys used to do with the tube socks with the stripes. So on the channel, I actually reviewed my 1986 Gary Carter costume or uniform, whatever you want to call it. So I said, fuck it, let me go as the 1986 New York Mets, Gary Carter, and I walked in there and took photos with them. But Thursday and Friday, or yesterday, I just wasn't up for it. And I think they wrapped up early over there anyways, because it was supposed to be like an anything goes Thursday, and then drinks and refreshments or whatever. But I just didn't, obviously now it's Valentine's, and I'm talking about the big letdown of today. I really didn't want to bring that kind of aura in there, because they like having fun, and they like laughing, and they're always playing music and dancing around, and they're fun loving in there. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to bring the black cloud that hangs over my head in there. So I kind of like kept to myself. Jump back on later. For fix or repair daily. Yes, mine is a tin can on wheels. The electrical system is shot. I actually tried to repair the cruise control. There's a module in the steering wheel. I pulled the freaking airbag out, pulled the fucking wiring out, rewired everything myself, put the new module in. It was working for like a month, and then that got shot. Yeah, the electrical system in my car is fried. It's ridiculous. I got to get it inspected. But yeah, Ford sucks. Fords are just awful, man. I got to get me a Toyota again. I really want to get me another Toyota RAV4 if I can. My old car. I miss my old car so much. But anyway. But yeah. Well, for the rest of you folks, I really thank you for stopping by for this live stream. Really, really appreciate it. Many of you are probably like me, with a lot on their minds tonight. I usually don't like defaulting to this, but, I think today I kind of, and I don't go out. Like I said, I really don't go out anywhere. And today I was just like, fuck it, whatever. You know what I mean? Let me just go out and blow off some steam. And RAV4 is probably the best pound for pound SUV. Yeah, I had a 2010 Toyota RAV4, automatic transmission, about 18 to 20 miles per gallon. So it was not quite a gas guzzler, but 18 to 20 on city streets and 20 to 25 on the highways. So, man, that thing, I only had 2 issues with it. The radiator blew out on me when I first moved down here because the car couldn't take the strain of driving 800 miles from New York. And that was 10 years ago, so I had to get the radiator replaced, and then the bearings on the rear axles blew out. So I had to have all that replaced, but then I got into a pretty bad car accident. I skid off the road. Unfortunately, I think it was in Noda or by the plaza someplace, north of here years ago, and lost control of the car and bang, right into a tree. The airbags deployed, the chassis, the frame was cracked. So it was a total loss, unfortunately, man. But with all that being said, I miss that car, man. I would love to get me another Toyota RAV4 again, even if it's not a 2010. Down here in Charlotte, if that's one thing I will say, is there are car dealerships everywhere. You can get just about anything in every car you could possibly imagine. But, I want to go in there with some cash and pay everything off with cash. I don't have to owe anything. I don't have to get fucking credit or any of that stuff. I'd rather just pay it, pay it all out like I did with this car. So, the insurance covered the loss of the car, which is cool. And then the rest I had to pay cash. So I think this car cost me like, what, $7,000, $8,000, something like that. But, I'm just tired of fixing it. The lift gate on the back, the piston broke. To replace that's like $300. Like I said, the electrical system's fried. The cruise control on it, I repaired it myself. It was working for months on end, and then all of a sudden, the electrical system's starting to go on it. There's a sensor that's buried in the engine that's responsible for the thermostat, and the fan in the car just keeps running and running and running and running. So I have to disconnect the battery in order to stop the battery from draining. And it's sitting out there. I mean, it's kind of good because, well, who's going to steal it? You know what I mean? But I have to disconnect the battery from the terminals, because if I don't disconnect the battery from the terminals, or from the cables, I should say, excuse me, the freaking fan is just going to keep running and running and running and kill my battery. I do have a plug-in battery charger for my car that I can run. I have a 500-foot extension cord that I can run right to my car and charge the battery and all that stuff. But, it's just that this car is a lemon at this point. It's a strong car. It's a tank. But I'm just tired of the repairs. It's got a brand new transmission in it that I had put in 2 years ago now. That ran me about $3,000, but with the repairs and everything, when you add it up, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I'm going to drive that car into the ground. If I have to go somewhere, I'll just Uber and Lyft. I mean, I could still drive the car, wherever it is, but I don't trust it for long distances. But I have everything right where I live anyway. I got Walmart right around the corner. There's pizza shops there. I got Empire Pizza there. I got Chinese restaurant right around the corner there. I got the Walmart right there. The post office is there. So, it's not like I'm desperate for anything. And if I have to get food delivered, I can do that. Walmart delivers food through their app. So it's not like I'm stuck. You know what I mean? But it's a lemon. The car is a lemon, unfortunately. So, and I barely drive my car because, like I said, I still pick myself up to go walk for my groceries. I'll walk to Walmart sometimes twice or three times in a day, especially with my baseball card orders from eBay, and it's good to get up, man. I don't want to be home all the time. Sometimes you have to touch grass. You got to get some sunlight on your face, and I appreciate walking. That's how I see all my neighbors and my friends outside. I'll stop and chit chat and what have you. And, just being mobile like that, picking up and walking away, or walking to the post office and back, or walking to the Chinese restaurant and back, or walking all the way to the Food Lion that's on the other side of the property there. It's good for you to touch grass once in a while. So, is this an MLS jersey? No, it is not. This is a Bayern Munich Well, actually, this is their UEFA Champions League strip with Harry Kane on the back, the English captain. I actually have I just got this jersey recently. I'm late to the party ordering my Bayern jerseys. I don't order jerseys like I used to. I used to buy like 6 or 7 jerseys all the time. So, with all that being said, I ordered the German national team jersey for the World Cup, which is sitting in my bedroom there, and bought the Bayern Munich Champions League jersey for this season, and I have their home Bundesliga jersey, as a matter of fact. I still yet to review these 3. The last review I did on the channel was Auf geht's Deutschland, go Germany. They still haven't chosen the German squad yet for the World Cup. Bayern Munich, man, they beat Werder Bremen today 3-0 quite readily. I think Harry Kane got a brace today, as a matter of fact. I forgot who scored the 3rd goal. I think it was Diaz. No, it was Goretzka. I think it was Leon Goretzka that scored, if I'm not mistaken. I watched a little bit of the game today, but like I said, I was too frustrated today. I just wanted to get outside and go out and just breathe a little bit, But yeah, I just picked this one up recently from soccer.com. And what's good about soccer.com, if you buy into their membership, a one-time membership, you'll get like $5 to $10 off instantly. You'll get customizations for free and all that kind of stuff. It's lifetime. Because to order this from Bayern Munich's website, from Munich, from Germany, you have to pay the fucking Trump tariff, which can be like $35 or $40 extra on top of a $90 to $100 jersey, which is ridiculous, plus taxes. So, I waited until the price came down, and then I saw like they were having a sale on the national team jerseys. I got the Florian Wirtz jersey with the German flag coming down this way, which is like a tribute to the 1990 jersey, which I have a replica of, which I came out with a couple of years ago. But I love Bayern's Champions League jerseys. I mean, there's been 1 or 2 that have been kind of like meh, but their Champions League jerseys are awesome. The home jerseys, on the other hand, they've been hit and miss. And the away strips are just bizarre. I skipped out on their Oktoberfest jersey this year. I've tried not to buy their specialty one-shot jerseys because, you can easily drop $300 to $400 on jerseys just like this, and then before you know it, you don't have money to pay rent. So it's called self-control. These days I'm a little bit more smarter with my money. So if I'm able to get these on sale or join a membership through an official website like soccer.com or World Soccer Shop or Subside Sports or something like that, soccer.com, like I said, I paid for the lifetime membership, so I instantly get $5 to $10 off on everything, which takes care of taxes and shipping. and what have you. But like I said, they had a sale on the German national team jersey for the World Cup. Because I think once they announce the squad for the World Cup, I think the numbers will change. Like I got the Florian Wirtz number 17 kit. But I don't know if he's going to keep that number 17 or it's going to be a different number for his jersey if he gets picked, which I think he will, with Kai Havertz and Voldemorta and all them guys, man. So we'll see. You know, Joshua Kimmich. We'll find out. We'll find out. Leroy Sané, I think Gundogan may be picked for the squad. We'll see what happens. Leon Goretzka, Serge Gnabry. I can tell you folks, man, I got a pounding headache, man. I probably will be able to go to sleep again. I mean, well, then again, I just drank all that Red Bull. Nothing like having uppers and downers in the form of beer and Red Bull, right, folks? Not exactly a good thing. Yeah, I'm just burnt. I'm burnt out today, man. What a fucking sacrilege. What a sacrilege. It's really a sacrilege. Let me just see something here quick. It's really sad. You do everything you can for these goofy fucking women, and this is what you get in return. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? You know, it's funny, like I got videos of Valentine's Day last year. This whole place was covered in flowers and chocolate. And this year I should have known this was going to happen this year. I knew it was going to happen. Every fiber in my being was telling me that this was going to happen today. I fucking hate her. I don't want to say I hate all women, but I'm really beginning to dislike women quite a bit. I've had enough of their bullshit, their commands, their demands, their wants, their needs. Everything you do is wrong. Everything you say is wrong. They're emotionally unstable. You have to fucking parade them around all over the place. They want to be paraded around all over the place. They walk by a giant glass window and they're staring at their ass. Not for you, but for the other people, because they have to have affirmation all the time. They have to be told they're pretty, they're beautiful, they're pretty. You look good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And God forbid you want to watch a ball game. It's like with my ex-girlfriend last year. The guys used to come over to my apartment, and we used to bounce around each other's patios here where I live. Wednesday was guys' day. And she would get fucking angry. And get angry and say, oh, you love your friends more than me. I'm like, bullshit, you're here three or 4 days a week. There are sometimes you stay here from Friday night all the way until Monday morning. How the fuck do I love my friends more than you? They're here one time for like 3 hours a day, 3 hours a Wednesday. And it's not every Wednesday. Maybe it'd be one Wednesday and then the guys are busy, then they come on another Wednesday. We go over to my buddy's house. You know? But they want to be paraded around and fucking wined and dined and everything else. But God forbid if I want to watch a baseball game, if I want to watch the Yankees, or now the World Baseball Classic is around the corner, then they take it like it's like you're not paying attention to them. They'll walk in front of the TV intentionally until you say something to them, like they're looking for a fucking fight. You could pay all the bills. You could put all the food in your refrigerator you want. You could treat them like fucking goddesses, but it's never enough. It's never enough. Like what this one did to me recently. That's why it's over. Oh, you cooked me a plate of food. You cooked me a couple plates of food. You know, what is that supposed to be? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's not good enough. It's never good enough. It's never good enough. It's like the one woman I threw out of my home that one time and threatened to call the police on her because she refused to leave. She showed up here unannounced, claiming all sorts of fucking bullshit that I never did. It's like my ex-girlfriend. These women immediately default to, oh yeah, you're seeing another woman, without proof, without evidence, or any of that shit. Oh, you're cheating on me. You're seeing. I stay home. I don't go out. I rarely ever go out. I made an exception because of my father's death, because I needed a break from everyone and everything. And what I went through last year, with the exception of Valentine's Day today, it's been the complete polar opposite. I'm making good money on eBay. You know what I mean? Things have calmed down a little bit. You know, I've got closer to the people around me than I ever had before. And I'm just sick and tired of bullshit. And along comes a spider. I'm sick of being hurt by them. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. That's why, like, when I make my YouTube videos reviewing jerseys, reviewing Transformers toys, talking about, the sports card hobby, talking about sneakers, like, it puts me in a better mindset. Doing these live streams puts me in a better mindset. These women are out of control today. They're really out of control today. They're out of control. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. A majority of them are out of control. Let me open up my front door here. It's getting a little hot. Oh, yeah, that's much better. I felt that ice cold breeze come in almost immediately. But, tomorrow, hopefully the weather's nice. I want to take down all them Valentine's decorations, or maybe I'll do it Monday. I'll leave them up for the weekend. God bless from Nova Scotia, or God bless from the United States to our Canadian neighbors there. Cheers. Oh, man, that breeze feels good. Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, what's the temperature in Celsius?
Right now, it's 9 degrees Celsius.
Okay, there you go. If anybody's across the pond or up north, if you're into metrics. Yeah, you know what, folks? Maybe let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I really didn't want to do a second round today, but why not? Hey, listen, I pay the bills. I made good money on eBay recently. I think I earned the right. I earned the right. It's not exactly the best Merlot, but cheers, everybody. Oh, that's good. Well, that's really good. It's not the best Merlot. It's budget Merlot, but what the hell? Let me put this beer back in the fridge if I'm going to drink that. Welcome to my home in some way or another. Welcome to my home. It's a little too breezy. Just enough to get some fresh air in here. Yeah, it's kind of a disappointment today. I should have seen it coming. I knew it was coming. That she was gonna fucking. I don't know about that. Becoming an American. If the Great Pumpkin in the White House here actually tries to annex Canada or Greenland and all that kind of stuff. This country is so split down the middle. I myself am a conservative voter, though I lean more libertarian than anything else. More like a slightly right of center. I used to be really, really on the right, but now I've seen myself lurch a little closer to the center because it's out of control, man, with the fucking tariffs now, and the price of groceries has gone up. With a lot of stuff that Trump has done the second time around, there's still a lot of stuff that he does that I like, but there's a lot of stuff that he hasn't done. He was supposed to bring down the price of groceries. That hasn't happened. If that's one thing about living in North Carolina versus living in New York like I used to, sales tax here is 7.25% on the American dollar, whereas it's almost 9% on the dollar up in New York City where I used to live. The taxes are out of control. You're taxed on everything. I think the tax rate, when you put it all together, is like 48% tax or some shit like that. It's insane. The rents are out of control. Like I pay with everything with water, the cables included. I'm paying 1,246 American dollars here on average for this apartment. This apartment in New York City would be like $4,000 or $5,000 easy. There's no question. No question. Yeah, I started getting some of my tax forms for my business. I mean, I'm on a fixed income anyway, so I volunteer to pay 10% tax because I don't trust this government. And I typically get that back around tax time. But this year it's supposed to be different because of Trump. Apparently, there's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. I still haven't got my SSA from Social Security yet. And, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, I got tax forms that came already. Plus, I have to fill out the annual report for my business. I have to file other paperwork for the business to keep it going for the next year. I got the renter's insurance I have to pay, which includes all of this. The liability, I think, is like $300,000, and that cost me $200 annually for that. So. But apparently, we're not supposed to be getting a 1099 if you're in a category like I am. So, yeah, it's insane. Thank God, at least for my income, there's no state tax taken out. We have a majority Republican Senate and House. We used to have a supermajority, but we lost a couple seats. So, unfortunately, with this goofy Democrat governor we got, he does have the power to veto. But once that veto goes through, what do you think the Republicans are going to do? Strike down that veto anyway. So he's more Democrat figurehead. As long as we have control of the House and Senate here in North Carolina, we're pretty much okay. The fucking city council, if you've been watching on the news, the Sheriff McFadden is a left-wing black Marxist socialist. And many city council members here in Mecklenburg County have been getting busted. One of them got charged with either one or several felonies. There's a bunch of them that got busted right here in Mecklenburg County. And good old Sheriff McFadden, who's a cocksucker. Oh, I love that word, how it rolls off the tongue. He's a cocksucker. Was sued because of the way he treats his underlings. Well, Trump has done a lot of good stuff. I am reading the comments. Trump does do a lot of good stuff, but there are a lot of things, unfortunately, he's dropped the ball on. Like I said, with these tariffs, again, being a German soccer fan, I have to pay $35 more in American dollars on top of what the cost of something like this is. I get the fact that he's trying to keep business and our industries here so that we don't have to depend on people across the pond or anything like that, especially with oil production and coal and everything else like that. And all these draconian fucking climate laws that he just did away with again. And us paying for, through the ass for people that never fucking reciprocate for us. Unfortunately, it's caused stagnation in the American economy through inflation, unfortunately. So, like I always joke around, a 12 case of Red Bull was typically 18 American dollars plus tax. Now it's all the way up to 21 American dollars plus tax, and it's not because of the product. It's because of the aluminum, the fucking metal that actually contains the Red Bull. It's like those beers. A pack of 15 beers used to be like $14 with the screw tops here in Charlotte. Now they're like $18 to $19. And the reason why, it's not because of the beer. It's not because of the cardboard. It's because of the aluminum. And I'm sure that aluminum, most of it's being imported from overseas. Tack on the tariffs, you're paying more. It's like, fuck, man. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to end. Eventually, it's going to blow up. The whole thing's going to blow up. It sucks. But we'll see what happens. Apparently, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. Apparently they're going back to the rule with the 1099K that if you have over, what is it, 20,000 in income plus 200 transactions. I think that's what it is. I would have to look it up on a computer. I forget the numbers. You're not supposed to get a 1099K. You're not supposed to be taxed. You don't have to file on it. But obviously with my eBay business, I gotta check and see where I stand. I actually got to print out all that paperwork too. eBay actually makes it easy, with the ink cartridges, the envelopes that I buy, the fragile stickers, the scan before delivery stickers, the little plastic pouches I use to seal the top loaders, all of that stuff. That's all expenses. So I got to print out all of that stuff from eBay. Well, at least you don't have that other asshole as your prime minister. But this guy that you folks got up there, he's a real piece of work, shaking hands with what's his name? Xi from China. China. Well, I talked about this in one of my live streams. Crime is intentional. Murder is intentional. The riots are intentional. Homelessness is intentional. Drug addiction is intentional. This is all about population control. You know why they fly that rainbow flag? Why they celebrate the rainbows more than anything? Why they're so protective over them? Because who better not to reproduce? Who better not to make babies than who pronoun cross-dressers that duct tape their peepees to the side of their legs? It's population control, man. That's what it's all about. And I showed the books on camera recently in a live stream. UN Agenda 21 and UN Agenda 2030. It's real. Globalization. In 20-year increments, they want to play God through attrition. That's why they lump Hispanic people together in one group under the pseudonym Latinx. Why do you think that Bad Bunny bullshit was on our TVs for the Super Bowl halftime show? Know what I mean? They've chosen their skin color. They literally think that if they do away with the sexes, it's gonna make for world peace. If they do away with guns, I think it's gonna encourage world peace. If they try to stop people from having opinions, it's gonna encourage world peace. Bullshit. We're man monkeys, We're man monkeys. That's what we are. We're shit throwing monkeys, all of us. It's built into our DNA to be violent and to disagree and to pick and choose, and how we go about our lives and all that kind of stuff. You really have to understand the nefarious nature of what you see on TV with this Black Lives Matter bullshit and all of that stuff in Antifa. It's bullshit. They want people to be overweight and sick because look at me. I'm going to be 49. I'm almost 50 years old. I don't look my age. I don't feel my age. I have a feeling I'm going to have a nice, fruitful life. You really think they want centenarians? It's a drag on the system. It's a drag on the environment. It's a drag for people to live too long. That's why they encourage fat fucks to keep eating. That's why they put the garbage and the sugar and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, there's a court case going on now where, like, if you talk about certain companies and certain products because of the sugar alone, you could be sued for defamation, believe it or not. Can you believe that? Meanwhile, diabetes will continue to be a thing. Here, like even recently, I discovered the vitamin B6 I was taking was man-made shit. And now I'm taking P5P, the natural B6, and I've noticed the changes in my attitude, the behavior, the neuropathy in my feet, all of that stuff, man. This whole thing is by design. It's arrogant meddling by mankind who played God. And they're literally trying to reprogram the human race. If there's no sex, there's no dissent. If there's no free speech or people disagreeing, there's no dissent. There's no violence. It's all fucking control. It's bullshit. And I've got their books. I've read them things inside and out several times now. It's scary. It's very scary. Yeah, like they were trying to ban N-acetylcysteine, which is a sulfur-based antioxidant that's good for your here we go again. There we go again. The trolls. Must be New York faggot lovers again. You know, with retarded kids. It's probably people that gave birth to retarded children. You know what I mean? Because of their genetic inferiority. You know, a lot of them, unfortunately, you know, have skeletons in their closet. You know, but it's New York arrogance why, you know, radical Islamic terrorists flew airplanes into their buildings in the first place, and why Manhattan Island is sinking, why they had blackouts, why Hurricane Sandy hit them. Fuck New York and all their people. So, but anyway, when it comes out down to it, oh, let me rub this in their face since we want to go down that road again. So here's an example of, and I know who this is. It's got to be either Dan, Kevin, or one of these fucking assholes whose kids are fucking retarded and genetically inferior, especially Kevin's daughter and Dan's son who has autism. What is that? An acquittal letter? An acquittal letter. Oh, with several other acquittal letters. Mic drop. Idiots. Anyway, fuck these people. New York is a prime example, just like California, of what they want to turn this country into. Cross-dressing, fat, overweight, gluttonous, socialist, obedient, ass to mouth, having sex with kids, all that good stuff. So, well, that's, you see, like in New York, around the time of 9/11, we had a Republican governor, George Pataki, and a Republican mayor, Mayor Giuliani. But unfortunately now, because we have a lot of spoiled brat bitches like the Star Wars homos out there, you know, people that like to dress up as fucking mythical figures like Darth Vader and all that shit. But now we know what's behind the costumes. We saw that with Hollywood, even with Star Trek now. It's all about homosexuality and perversions and, you know, all that kind of stuff, because they really, really like children. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. Just give me 1 second here. That's what they're all about. That's exactly what they're all about, folks. Just give me 1 second here. Something I want to do. I thought I did away with this. No? Give me a second here. Especially that little Dan faggot and all of his friends. You know, what was he, an ex-cocaine head? That's why his son's got fucking autism the way he does. Don't do drugs, folks. Same thing like with this other asshole's daughter, why she's got that severe disease that she's got. But then meanwhile, he goes out and sends his wife begging for medical benefits in fucking school. But then meanwhile, he spends all of his money on alcohol and, you know, chastises people online for having firearms. Meanwhile, he does skeet shooting right down the road from where he lives in Long Island. Fucking hypocritic asshole. I am going to be making a trip to New York pretty soon. Maybe I should knock on somebody's door. Have my military police officer brother-in-law come knock on their fucking door. Do I have a lot of pent-up anger? No, I don't. I'm just realistic. I'm realistic, and I see things for what they are. I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Pragmatic. That's the word I'm looking for. Pragmatic. I'm very pragmatic. I see things for what they are. Oh, that's why, because I didn't put the past, present, then past, present, and future. Okay, there we go. Let me just make sure here once again. So you know what it is. These people, they don't want me talking about them because, hey, by the way, I'm glad that Kathleen Kennedy is gone from Star Wars, you know, because don't lose yourself in something beneath you. Yeah, they're beneath me. Listen, New York is New York. They're slowly falling apart. The population is dwindling, and that's why people move down here to where I live. You know, don't let ex-cocaine heads, you know, it always takes the reason why some kids get autism, you know, especially when your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend is a crackhead or a drug addict, it takes two to tangle. Know what I mean? Yeah, I don't waste my time with people that are inferior to me as far as I'm concerned. They always have been and they always will be. And at this point, you know, like I said, nothing can really stop me at this point. So, well, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, not much bothers me these days. You know what I mean? But like I said, I ended up dumping this one. See, and especially with that stupid comment that came in there, it's all in black and white, folks. I have nothing to prove to anybody. Mic drop. You know, it's funny, this little long-haired faggot and his ugly Jewish girlfriend, and I'm going to say it right then and there, you know, he's so fucking broke that he actually moved into her house. He's not like me, who actually pays his own rent in his own home. What's it like living in a woman's space? Know what I mean? Let's harness the power of AI. I actually made a couple, yeah, let's move past these fucking, you know, genetically inferior brainlets. With that being said, yeah, I actually made a couple of AI YouTube shorts making fun of the sports card hobby and all that kind of thing. So AI is getting frightening, as a matter of fact. You know, there was actually a case of somebody getting arrested because somebody created an AI video. And I guess the person's image came up or something like that. I think his girlfriend was trying to set him up, or somebody was trying to set him up. You know what I mean? And it's getting more and more and more scary. It's getting more and more frightening how AI can actually generate something from the ether, just like that. Like the sky's the limit with a lot of this stuff, unfortunately. You know, and Hollywood's been talking about this. I mean, if you look on YouTube, you're going to see fan-made videos with certain I hate to even talk about Star Wars, but I have to admit that there are a lot of Star Wars fan-made videos that use AI that are actually better than the movies, surprisingly. And you see this with Star Trek stuff too. I mean, forget Starfleet Academy. It's all about the it, what, who pronoun. You know, Klingons wearing dresses and all that stupid shit. That's not Star Wars. That's the message again. But anyway, with that being said, remember that first one of Will Smith eating spaghetti? Yeah, it's got so far. Like when you see Hayden Christensen, you know, all scarred up. I forgot what the name of the YouTube channel is. It's actually pretty successful. It grew really quickly, where basically this content creator is using AI to take some of the stories right off the pages of these Star Wars books, and literally recreates them through AI. It's impressive. I mean, you can see some of the movements don't quite match up with the words coming out. There's still little nuances. Thank you very much. Yeah, I pay attention to all of this stuff. You know, you're always going to have people that are going to try to step on you and stomp on you and throw you off your game. You always have to stay in your lane no matter what. After everything that I went through these past 10 years, all it's done is make me stronger. It makes you stronger. It makes you smarter up here. You know what I mean? You become much more aware of the world around you. And for me, human nature figuring out human nature is not all that difficult, man. People are not all that hard to figure out, unfortunately, for me. Most people, they want to be bigger than what they really are. They want to be more popular than what they really are. It's the 7 deadly sins, basically. Lust, greed, all that kind of stuff. Envy. And a lot of it I see through with people these days. Especially at this age now, I've got so much wiser to so much shit that you're always going to have the horny puppy dog trying to hump your leg, like with some of the people I've dealt with in the past, because they don't personally like me. They're jealous, or I have more money than they do, or I have more clout than they do, or I have better clothes than they have. Especially losing all the weight. They can't lose weight because their fucking genetic stew is inferior, or something like that. And I hate to be arrogant that way, and forgive me, but you have to look past a lot of things and look into people. And a lot of people are just jealous. All that shit that you see out in the street with people rioting, it's not protesting, it's rioting, because the have-nots, the ones who are on the bottom of the barrel, they want to reach the apex, they want to reach the peak of the mountain, and they can't. Either because because they won't try, they put no effort into it. Some people truly aren't given a chance, and I feel sorry for people like that. But a lot of people hate me because I sit on my cloud. I sit on my cloud. I have a very good life, and there are people that will hate me for that because they have to work for their slave master. Me, I am my own master. And I've had to, that's why I wear the symbology of my ancestors. I'm not a practicing pagan, but if you wear the Mjolnir and you wear the symbol, the Aishalmir, Norse mythology and paganism teaches you that, life is not easy, man. Even in the Bible, when Lucifer tempts Jesus to jump off of the mountain there, thou shalt not tempt thy Lord thy God, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Life is not supposed to be easy. And Satan says to Jesus, literally, people actually think life should be easy or life should be hard like that because Jesus, what was it? Mount Sinai he climbed up, I think, after John the Baptist baptized him. You know what I mean? And Satan says people think life should be hard like that. Life should be easy. And of course, Satan was trying to tempt them and Jesus resisted. That type of story is ubiquitous throughout most religions, that through hard work, sometimes you have to suffer. Even in Norse mythology, Odin himself suffered. He cut out his own eye and threw it into the well of life just to gain knowledge, to sacrifice himself. Just like our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, if you're into Catholicism and Christianity. He was beaten, bludgeoned, stepped on, punched, kicked, whipped, forced to carry his own crucifix to the side of his death where he died and rose after 3 days. There are ubiquitous stories throughout religion that teaches you that you have to go through hard times. You're going to have people that hate you. You're going to have people that don't like you. You're going to have people that despise you, who are jealous of you. Like, what's his face there? Like Judas. Just like Judas. All these people are acting like Judas. They have the power to take their life into their own hands like I did. I had to suffer through homelessness, lies, betrayals, backstabbing. I've been used. I've been taken for granted. I've taken beatings for people. And what have I ever gotten in return? What have I ever gotten in return in my life? And then there are moments like, today where I'm feeling down and messed up. And as this conversation goes, I look around. It's like, I really don't have it all that bad after all. You know what I mean? You got to find the light in everything, the positive in everything. Some women today are fucking evil. Most of them, not all of them. Yeah, I am laid back for the most part. As I've gotten, when I was younger, I was a little off kilter, but now I'm approaching my 50s now. It gets to a point where I see guys that are in their 30s going bald. They got salt and pepper beards and mustaches. They got swollen beer bellies. You know what I mean? They got man tits bigger than fucking Dolly Parton. You know what I mean? I've learned to take care of myself, improve myself physically, improve myself emotionally and mentally. You have to go through hard times. Because then you get spoiled in life. You get spoiled in life. You have to grind life. You have to grind in life. I hate to say it. I need my suffering. I need my I need my pain. I went through all those tragedies throughout my life. And yet I'm still here. And every time, just like with the assholes that came into the chat, when people want to make things up, remember, I've got all the paperwork, buddy. It's what's in black and white that matters, not what you think. Not what you think. It's what's in black and white that matters. Maybe certain people shouldn't have fucking overindulged in beer drinking and drugs and cocaine and all that stuff. Yeah, as you get older, you start getting a lot wiser. You start paying attention to more and more of this bullshit. Everything you see, it's all human behavior, man. It's all about human behavior. Where did I copy and paste that from? Oh, the Bell. Good old Keno Casino, man. I love those guys. They're fucking insane. I feel so sorry. Just for a little bit of a change of pace here. That Dark Side Phil, dude, I feel so fucking sorry for him. You know, what's his name? Ashton or Ash, who's got the cowbell, that the triangle. I watch those guys quite regularly, man. They really go after Dark Side Phil. But Dark Side Phil, in a way, he's somebody that deserves a lot of the retribution he gets online. You see, like I have a small business that I run, that I promote, you know, here on YouTube. But you know, he literally begs and begs and begs and begs and begs. You know, I literally sell stuff. I have a legitimate LLC. I have a legitimate business. He claims he has a business, but he's a shitty gamer. He's an awful gamer. And that's the end of that. So, with that being said, But anyway, folks, what time is it? Oh, wow. Like, oh, what's his name? Owen Wilson would say, oh, wow. Yeah, I'm on here pretty late tonight, 12:30. And thank you, folks, for joining in. But yeah, like I said, you're always going to have people that hate you. You will always have people that don't like you. They resent you. They see what they want to see. They hear what they want to hear. They will make up falsehoods and lies to make themselves feel better, because their lives are so small and insignificant, whereas I can pretty much do whatever I want, when I want, how I want. And I answer to no one. I'm beholding to nobody, except for that man right there, that Christian or Catholic cross that's up there, or the Mjolnir, or whatever religious symbol or deity you worship. I'm beholding to nobody, and these people just don't like that. They don't like the fact that I don't have to obey the rules, that I am in charge of me, that I'm in a place, you know, I'm not a rich guy, I'm not a superstar, I'm not a rock star, I don't have millions of dollars, but the life I have, people can have it if you're willing to suffer for it. And the people that are out there, unfortunately, who will never stop attacking me because they fucking hate me, and I couldn't care less if they hate me anymore. I don't care. Remember, it's what's in writing that matters at the end of the day. See, because I have what they don't have, and they don't like that. Because people, unfortunately, will do everything to try to knock you off your perch. Am I warming up on this wine? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. And I earned it. Cheers. It is now officially Sunday, 12:35 a.m. my time here on the East Coast. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you for the extra subs. I see now we're at 1,502 subs. Wow. Thank you, everybody. This channel has probably grown by like 150 to 200 subs since Christmas time. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Also, shameless plug to my small business. If you're interested in baseball cards or anything like that, click on the link in the chat. That's my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. I've been doing quite well. Thank you to all of you. I am still working out negotiations for this. I had several collectors who really know their stuff. We've been working on prices to see what I'm willing to part with this for. I have it currently listed at $1,200, but that number is up in the air. So, we'll see what happens, as I have been in contact with several potential customers who want to buy that Barry Bonds auto. And we'll see where it ends up, but I've been doing really good since the holidays, man. The business has really picked up quite a bit. Eventually, I'm going to have to go out and get more wax to open for the channel. As after flagship all the way up until update last year, I stopped opening wax because it's just too expensive. What happened with Topps Chrome recently? Jeez, it's insane. So, but thank you very much, everybody, for helping the channel to continue to grow. I definitely have to review this jersey. I still have 2 other jerseys I need to review. I got Transformers toys. I actually got an email about Missing Link Ultra Magnus that I've already put a deposit on. That should be released in the first or second week in March. So I got that. Of course, the Magenta Hot Rod, the Transformers Studio Series, I have that ordered or reserved. There's no such thing as a pre-order. You can't order something before you order something. It's improper English. It's like the idiots that say often. The T's silent. It's often. So that's me being facetious again. But yeah, I have Studio Series Hot Rod from the 86 movie ordered. And I have his predecessor, the red version, sitting up there, as a matter of fact. And I still got a pretty sizable backlog of stuff that I got to review here on the channel. There's always going to be discussion. It's just I find myself in a groove right now when it comes to the live streams, because it seems like a lot of people have a lot to say. And I made a video about this recently, like you have to adapt. Like a lot of sports card, baseball card, football card, junk wax content creators, like their content goes stale after a while because they focus just on the hobby by itself. But, I found being multifaceted, talking about multiple hobbies, collecting jerseys, talking about sports, talking about, the aspects of running a small business from my home, caring for your sneakers, collecting Transformers toys and things like that. And, you're multifaceted, and, you can talk about just about everything. So there's a little something for everybody. It's not just, stale, focused on one subject. And I enjoy that kind of stuff. It takes me away from the monotony and the nonsense of the bullshit I see on TV all the time. It's funny because despite my best effort to kind of like stay away from, the politics that I see on YouTube in particular with all the talking heads and all that kind of thing, it ends up coming up into my news feed anyway. And I do like to be well informed, but both sides are idiots. I hate to say it. Both sides are fucking numbnuts. That's like Candace Owens going after Ben Shapiro. And I don't like the 2 of them anyway to begin with, because they're no different than the other assholes with CNN and MSNBC and all that stuff. They're just talking heads after a while. They're not about the beliefs and the facets of that ideology of conservatism. They're just talking heads with their minuscule interpretation of conservatism. It's ridiculous and absurd. The only one out of all of them I like is because he's very facetious and very sarcastic is Matt Walsh. Love that guy. That's good. But again, thank you, everybody, for, chiming in. I really appreciate it. Like I said, you're going to have people that hate you. You're going to have people that don't like you. You're going to have people that are jealous of you. You're going to have people that, they have to, when they look at the mirror and they see that you have things that they don't. There are people that resent me. I've been retired now since 2011. There are people that hate that. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you get to sit on a cloud all day long, and you don't have to go to work and push and shove on a train anymore." In other words, who the fuck do I think I am to have an easy life? My life is far from easy, believe me. And especially now, doing what I do with the baseball card stuff, there's nothing easy about it. I'm playing with other people's money here. So I take that very seriously. But it's taught me a lot about business and all that kind of stuff. I never thought, I come from a construction background. I never thought I would be doing this. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's very interesting. And lately, my sales have been doing really, really, really good. Really, really good. And I thank all of you for that. There are a lot of content creators out there that won't thank their audience for that. Cheers to all of you, to my eBay customers. And I keep having the same people coming back. And I still got cards I have not listed yet. I still have cards I have to pack and prepare. So, the shirt is sick. Yeah, that's this year's Bayern Munich Champions League jersey with Harry Kane on the back. The Englishman himself. Yeah, I'm a Bayern fan, longtime Bayern Munich fan. So I just picked up this shirt from soccer.com recently. I picked up their home jersey recently. And I got the new German national team with Florian Wirtz on it, which I will be reviewing hopefully sooner than later here on the channel. But I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, wearing it, before I review it. So spoiler alert, But again, thank you everybody for checking out the live stream again. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Check out my eBay store. The link is in the chat and in the description box below. Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate it. Delicious. Delicious. And thank you for helping the channel to break 1,500 subs, everybody. Let me see here. Give me one moment. Yep, we broke 1,500 subs tonight. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, the channel grew a lot since Christmas. In the past month and a half, the channel has to have grown at least by 150 subs. I was not expecting 70 subs in the last 28 days. Thank you, everybody. I really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me just do one quick refresh here. Just give me 1 second here. What we got going down here? Bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Okay. Just give me 1 second here. Thank you very much. Let's see. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Having a bit of a hiccup here behind the scenes. Let me just do this. Okay. So with that being said, I'm all said and done. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, I got more food than you can possibly imagine, resources galore. I get to sit on my cloud, drink my wine, and be the king of my little castle, sitting on top of my own little mountain, doing what most people can't do, and that's to be in total control of my life. You have to suffer a little bit. You have to go through some shit. You have to go through the mud sometimes. You got to get your feet dirty. You can take a couple scratches on your knuckles and on your elbows and all that kind of stuff. It happens, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, it's how you come out. You end up coming out on top when you go through all that stuff. So, yeah, you got to see what my mini refrigerator looks like. As a matter of fact, you want to go take a look at it? Let's go take a look at my mini refrigerator, because I know most people can't afford to have 2 refrigerators. Time to flex. Let's flex. Because I know most people can't even afford half the shit that I've got. So let's flex a little bit. Red Bulls, Gatorades, waters. More Red Bulls, more Gatorades, more waters. There are review units for me to check out on the channel. I haven't got around to yet. So, at least I'm not starving. At least I don't go to what is basically a communist food bank in New York City begging for free shit. At least everything that I have is earned. I earned my keep. I'm not a fucking freeloading it who pronoun fat black trans guilty white liberal socialist fag lover like the people are in my former home of New York. You know, where they're basically ass to mouth like the human centipede. But meanwhile, they practice anti-Semitism and anti-white shit, right? And it's mostly white people who stir up the shit in the first place up there, talking about being hypocrites. Oh, nothing made me happier than seeing 7-foot-tall walls of garbage in their streets. And as a result, the rat population continues to be out of control because it's New York. Fuck them. Fuck them. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that the people of New York continue to do it to themselves. And that's why people like me come down here. And when people suffer enough, eventually they tell me I was right. They always do. Actually, off camera, I'm not going to get into what that means, but recently I had a couple of people, because of this YouTube channel, actually tell me, we should have listened to you. You were right. Am I mad? No, I'm pragmatic. Big difference. Mad is an emotion. Pragmatic is, being analytical and thoughtful. I'm not mad at all. I'm actually quite relaxed. I'll be honest with you. I am quite relaxed. I wasn't expecting, this live stream, but I am very relaxed. So, very relaxed. I get to sit and drink all the wine I want, make as much money as I can, live as comfortably as I can. I don't have to deal with people. I shouldn't have to deal with people. I don't have to put up with people's wants and needs and beliefs and this and that and everything else. I can choose to do whatever I want, come and go as I please. And that pisses people off. It really pisses people off. When you're in total and complete control of your life, you can come and go as you please. If I don't want to make money with my baseball cards, I don't have to. I don't have to do this. I do it because it keeps me busy. I should have made myself one of them sirloins in my fridge. But again, everybody, thank you so much for joining this live stream and keeping me company. I really, really appreciate it. I know it's outside the purview of what this channel is supposed to be about hobbies and stuff, but sometimes real life gets in the way. Reality gets in the way. and God knows I've been through my reality, and, people will fucking hate you for it because they want to see you fail. That's the one sad aspect of human nature that I really can't stand, is there are people out there that want to watch you fail. They want to see a person rise to the top and then fall. And I know my life has been like a sine curve. Last year was a bad year for me. This year's the complete polar opposite. And even though I was feeling like shit today, I'm making the best of it. So actually, my life is quite fulfilling, and now you get the nuke as well. My life is quite fulfilling. I got trees out in front, got a beautiful patio I can sit on. I got more clothes and sneakers than I know what to do with. I got all these collectibles, to keep me busy. I got this channel to review all that stuff. I got great friends, tons of food, money in the bank. Doesn't sound empty to me. See all these comments that are popping up in the chat? That's exactly what I'm talking about. The very thing that I'm talking about. People want to see you go crazy on camera. They want to see you react. They want to see you, lose your shit. And then when you give it back to them, they don't like it. They hate that. They hate that when you're actually the king of your castle. They don't like people that basically are untouchable. I mean, I'm not saying I'm untouchable, but with the kind of life I live, I am beholden to nobody. I answer to no boss. I don't have to compete with employees who rat each other out behind each other's backs. They'll smile in front of your face, but then meanwhile they'll be holding a knife in their hand, getting ready to stab you in the back. They'll call you brother to your face and then throw you under the bus, toss you off the cliff. I don't have to deal with any of that. The life I live now, it omits all of that shit. And I've had people do their damnedest to try to fucking break me. Just like what happened last year. And I got the court letter right there for people that choose to create a false narrative. It's what I have in black and white that matters. And despite their best efforts, I'm still here. Oops. Prost. But anyway, all that stuff is besides the point. Let me see here what we got. I am my Valentine. Are we going to deal with another one here? Let's see where this one goes now. We're going to deal with another one? That's okay. I expect this stuff. I know it's the internet. You're going to get all sorts of shit showing up. So, let me see here. I am my Valentine. Give me 1 second here. What's this? That just popped up. Excusez-moi. Oh, that's from... Oh, that's from recent. Never mind. Okay, so I don't need to look at that. It just got a notification there. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Again, cheers, everybody. Oh, that's delicious. Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, what's tomorrow's forecast?
Tomorrow, there will be rainy weather, with a high of 51 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 39 degrees.
Yeah, I got to go out there and take down all them Valentine's decorations. I got red lights pretty much everywhere up there. I got heart-shaped decorations, and it's going to be time to get ready for St. Patrick's Day, lads and lasses. But I really don't think I'm going to decorate too much for St. Patrick's Day. I like to keep my patio on the upbeat. Every holiday I am unapologetic about decorating my patio. You know, I got the colored lights outside. Right now they're all red. As far as like my three lamps are concerned, I've got these guys I got at Walmart. I have them here. No, I don't have them in this room. I probably got them up there on one of the shelves in my kitchen. They're actually light bulbs that have a switch on them that changes colors. There's one of them, one setting on these light bulbs that you switch it and it'll rotate colors on its own. But I can change it to red, to green, to yellow, to blue, to the black light and all that kind of stuff. I should have a big ass Trump sign. I've actually started selling some of my Trump hats on eBay. Actually, I have to relist two of them, as a matter of fact. I'm trying to he as much as I like Trump, I get what he's trying to do. I know why he's doing it. But there are just certain things that he's done that I'm not too pleased with, like the tariffs. Especially if you're ordering things from overseas like this. I had to get this from an American shop, but the shop that got this from Adidas had to get it from across the pond, which means the tariff was built into the cost of me buying this jersey, which sucks. And anything coming from across the pond could run anywhere between $20 to $40 extra. So I get why he's doing it, but it just sucks for us. And because of that, the cost of certain foods, the cost of certain clothing, the cost of certain goods and supplies have unfortunately gone up as a result. And it's awful. It's really awful. But man, these fucking leftist rats are getting flushed out and smoked out left and right. Even here in North Carolina, in Mecklenburg County, left-wing socialist, black Marxist Democrats are getting busted left and right for all sorts of shit. Good old Sheriff McFadden, who's a commie black socialist, was in front of Congress recently. He couldn't even answer basic questions because, he likes that type of shit. People like him like that power. They want that power. This is never going to be an all black, fat, gay, guilty, white, liberal, septum ring wearing planet. Ever, ever, ever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to eat insects. We're not going to live in grass huts. We're not going to fall in love with kids. We're not going to be cross-dressing. Fuck all that stuff. It's never going to happen, folks. We're never going to stop thinking. We're never going to... Yeah, they were trying to pull that shit when I first moved down here to North Carolina from the criminal, radical, fascist, socialist, leftist, communist, Marxist, hashtag MeToo, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, anti-white, anti-family, anti-Trump, anti-police, anti-parent, bedbug-infested, crime-ridden regime of the COVID concentration camp, illegal immigrant refugee camp, pro-faggot, pro-homo, pro-diddler, pro-cross-dressing regime of New York City, where they voted for a communist mayor. When I left there to come down here to North Carolina, they were trying to enforce this bathroom bill bullshit where anyone could use any bathroom. You don't know what kind of sick people are out there. Remember GameStop, ma'am? It's ma'am. You have some truly mentally deranged people out there. True sexual perverts. Who committed this latest shooting, as a matter of fact? Who tried to kill Trump? Who's been doing all of these school shootings? It's all it, what, who, pronoun, cross-dressing, furry, this, that, and everything else. You know what I mean? And again, there was another mass shooting by it, what, who, pronoun freak, weirdo genetic defect that rolled down their mommy's leg when they were born, like a melted ball of wax. That's what they are. That's who they are. They're the ones that are responsible for all this shit. Yeah, they were trying to pass that bathroom bill in North Carolina. At that time, we had a supermajority of Republicans running the show. But like I said, it's only recently, within like the past year or so, that I think they lost one or two seats up there. I don't know if it was in the House or in the Senate. But even if it falls into the governor's lap, we still have a majority Republican in the House and Senate. So anything that goes through him will be vetoed anyway by Republicans. But Mecklenburg County, unfortunately, because of these pro-Marxist, commie, socialist, rainbow flying freaks that are moving from places like my former home in New York, as a result, in order to keep their jobs, they keep promoting these fuckers, and now they're all getting busted. How many council members here in Charlotte alone have been busted recently? Judges are getting busted now. Good. Like that freak weirdo lesbian what who pronoun freak with the shaved head with the fucking Kid and Play hairstyle, the Spanish woman who got busted for handcuffing a fucking lawyer or whoever it was to a bench in a courtroom. Fuck these people. They're getting everything they deserve and they don't like it. The tables have turned. We are in charge now. And they don't like it. And you can see it in their behavior. That while, somebody like me is in a boat, rowing the boat, you can see they're screaming from the shoreline, ah! Like little hobgoblins. They look like orcs from Lord of the Rings, all of them, with their precious little rainbow hair and their septum rings. So, actually, believe it or not, that's illegal. You cannot force people to vote for somebody that you don't want to vote for. That's why Trump is going against Harvard and all these colleges, because of what they're pushing. It's called indoctrination. See, like in my former home of communist pronoun cross-dressing New York, where they have bed bugs and rats the size of raccoons. I come from the last of a generation that didn't have metal detectors in school. They encouraged us to either skip a grade or take honors classes. Now they want all the kids to be as stupid as a piece of used chewing gum in the street. They are actually doing away with special progress classes in public schools in New York because they don't want the nose-picking little nitwit, little 6-year-old picking his nose little nitwit to be any dumber or smarter than a kid next to him. I think a kid who's intelligent, who's a prodigy, and shows progress should be encouraged to be smarter. But no, we all have to look alike, talk alike, and sound alike. Fuck you. Bullshit. 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 It's because of the efforts of my parents, who were pretty strict back then, that I got 47 credits. 7 of those credits are college credit built into my high school diplomas. I had 2 separate diplomas from New York City and New York State. And I have college credit built into those diplomas. And I could have continued. I could still go to college if I want to. Oh, by the way, especially to the New York haters out there, because of the nature of my income, I would get it for free. You pay for it. You know that, right? If I ever so chose to. That would probably piss you off even more. Thanks, buddy. Boy, the sweet taste of success. 2 snaps in a circle. But anyway. Yeah, man. I mean, the resistance is on. That whole Turning Point USA thing, man, let me tell you, I was so excited to watch that. That was great. That was awesome to see how Kid Rock at the end of that show, used his real name and was talking about Christianity and Catholicism in his music. Really, really good stuff, man. But then meanwhile, Bad Bunny is trying to promote the Latinx thing, lumping all the Hispanic cultures into one. You can't do that. Puerto Ricans are not Colombians. Colombians are not Dominicans. Dominicans are not from Spain. The Spanish are not from Chile. People from Chile, don't come from fucking Brazil. People from Brazil are not from Cuba. They're all very different. Just because they share certain aspects of their language and aspects of their food and their skin color does not make them the same. Yeah, being human makes them the same. Breathing fresh air makes them the same. Having eyeballs makes them the same. Death makes us the same. But each culture is very different as to the dialects, how they prepare the food, what kind of spices, how they worship God. And saying a thing like that, oh, they don't like that. Oh, they don't like a person like me talking like that, because it's true. Look at modern Europe, how many times the power has shifted. It used to be the Czech Republic, now it's Czechoslovakia. It used to be Czechoslovakia, then it's the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia. Like in the Slavic world, Poland, you know, and all those places all got, you know, split up. The Soviet Union and the Ukraine and all them countries got split. They all have different aspects of their culture and the way they want to go about things, you know, and that's beautiful. You know, what are we going to do? Take Switzerland, Austria, and Germany and force them all to come back together again? I think at this point in time, after all the bullshit that, you know, my ancestors dealt with, you know, during bloody battles with, you know, the fucking Romans and whatnot, I think they're pretty happy having Germany as Germany and Switzerland as Switzerland and Austria as Austria. You know what I mean? Because each one of them has developed their own cultures and their own dialects and their own ways of preparing food and their own way of worshiping God. So it's our differences that make us what we are. Ass-to-mouth communism and socialism never works. That's what it is. It's the human centipede. I was on food stamps. I've said this here on the channel. I was on food stamps for a while. I had to pay back Mecklenburg County $3,500 of that when I moved to this apartment. But that's when certain things finally fell into my lap. I took a risk, rolled the dice, started selling baseball cards on eBay, and now I'm at where I'm at right now. What is that? Over two years since I got rid of that food stamp card. It's almost 2 years that I've started my little eBay shindig. Who the hell wants to, you know why? Because when it comes to communism and socialism, when they give you all this free shit, the powers that be want something in return. And you know what that is? Unwavering obedience. Unwavering obedience. That's why the people in New York, they're being given free food. That's how you buy obedience. So you don't question the little Muslim man with the beard and mustache. Funny how they have a Muslim mayor, and then meanwhile it was radical Islamic terrorists that flew airplanes into their buildings. Isn't that wonderful? Not saying every Muslim and every person that worships Muhammad is bad. But look what he's promoting. And, you know, it's funny, the left talks about misogyny. People in the Islamic culture go to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Syria and all these Muslim countries, even in Turkey, you know, if a woman doesn't walk 3 feet behind her husband and she doesn't wear anything other than black and a burqa, she's going to be stoned. And don't they marry 12-year-olds in their culture? I'm just kind of wondering. Facts, baby. Facts, baby. Facts. Facts, facts, facts. Facts. And people are resisting this shit. I've been resisting this for many years. Of course, then you get labeled racist and a phobe and an ist and all that bullshit. You know, it's selfishness. It's selfishness that's built into our modern society. And when you stand out in a crowd, fucking people hate you. You really think these movie stars? You really think these movie stars are important to our culture? They volunteered themselves to be circus monkeys for us. That's why I don't care what superstars say. I don't care what fucking Bad Bunny is all about. Fuck him and his dress too. Latinx my ass. Bullshit. There is no such thing as Latinx. So what are we gonna do with Asian people? Are we gonna take Indians from India, and then the Chinese, the Japanese, people from Taiwan and Thailand? Are we gonna lump them all together too? Are we gonna come up with a special name for them? Asian X, Asian. What's a good word to use here? Oh man, I'm getting stuck. Help me out here, folks. Asian X. Asians like X-Men? Are we going to come up with a special euphemism for Asians now? Lump them all together? It's bullshit. Bullshit. And Indian Oriental Express. God. I actually have Jack Burton. You said Oriental Express. I actually have a Jack Burton toy from Big Trouble in Little China sitting right there. And that was the name of his big rig, the truck, the Oriental. No, it was the Pork Chop Express. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I stand corrected. It was the Pork Chop Express. My apologies. People in Latin America countries mostly stem from Spanish conquest. Yeah, but, you know, that's a good point to make because, oh, no, the Spanish weren't colonizers. What about people in Africa? No, they weren't colonizers. It's always the white man. Huh? Huh? What about people in Africa? They colonized land. How about the Ottoman Empire back in the days when the Europeans were fighting each other? The Germanics, the Vikings, the Visigoths and all of them. What about the Celts and the Britons? Know what I mean? Everybody has conquered somebody at some point. And it was mostly, and let's just get it out of the way, there were black slave owners who sold off black people to the white man back then. So they're just as fucking guilty. And not for nothing, if you find videos, too bad Ogrish and those horrible websites aren't up on the internet anymore. You know what they do to their people? If you're caught in the middle of adultery, they'll cut your hand off or light you on fire. Isn't that fun to be a part of an African tribe? Or they'll beat you with sticks. That's what they do. And we're misogynist? Ha! The fuck out of here. And that's where these people fail to deal with reality. Because we live here. When you have 15 different types of cereal to choose from. But if you're part of a fucking tribe overseas, look out. They will beat you. They'll cut your hands off. They'll cut your fingers off. They'll light you on fire. Remember Jihad John? Remember Daniel Pearl? See, that's another reason why people hate me out there, because I have a photographic memory when it comes to certain things that happen in this country where Christians and homosexuals in Afghanistan and Pakistan, when we were chasing down Osama bin Laden, trying to locate him with Jihad John, they were drowning homosexuals in cages, lighting them on fire, cutting their heads off. Remember that? Oh, but we can't talk about that. It's too gruesome and too mean. I'm American. Fuck you. All I have to do is shield myself from reality by calling myself gay and identify as a fucking poodle. Get out of here. Get fucking real. Get real, folks. Get real. And I can go on all night until the wine kicks in. Isn't it sick? Isn't it sick? Very sick. Again, each to their own, do your own thing. True fascism is when you literally are trying to force somebody against their will to believe in something or to follow an ideology through violence and or intimidation. And that's what these people do. And while these nitwits are out there throwing a temper tantrum, when they could be engaging in something I learned a long time ago, which is called self-improvement. You look at Ricky Berwick, one of the best meme lords on the internet. He took a disability and turned it into an ability. And that dude runs his own little empire here on YouTube. What's their excuse? I learned this shit about myself a couple of years ago when I started my little eBay shindig here. These people just want things. Everybody wants something. Here, I wasn't expecting to be alone for Valentine's Day, yet I'm making the best out of it. Making the best out of a bad situation. And people will hate you for that. Because you found a way to make yourself happy. You found a way to rise up to the top. You got through the worst of the worst. And people will hate you for that. People will hate you for that. And then people will try to find ways to fuck with your life. And every time that's happened, I've come out on top. These people don't have a clue. They really don't. And then people have to, what's the terminology I'm looking for here? They have to ingratiate themselves with fucking pageantry and labels and God, talking about, attention seeking. That's what the fucking septum rings are for. All that bullshit. I learned a long time ago as a young man. I used to have my eyebrow pierced. I took that fucker out years ago. First off, it's unattractive. It's ugly and it doesn't look good. I used to have long hair. When my hair gets too long, off it comes, off to the barber, or I'll sit there and buzz myself because I got like 4 or 5 trimmers in there which again, I know will piss people off because each one of them costs $50, $60, $70 each times 4 or 5. I think it's 5. Yeah, I can afford that. Oops. But people have to promote themselves, at the expense of others. And then meanwhile, me who sits in the nosebleeds and watches all this shit from the sidelines, it's funny how some of these people try to, how can I put this? They try to boost their self-esteem by comparing themselves to other people and trying to find the flaws in people. But then you look at them for who they are. Jesus Christ, some men can't even look down and see their own dicks because their fucking bellies are out to here because of gluttony, stuffing their faces with sausage and shit. Everybody has a gift of some type. Find a way to use that gift. Find a way to utilize that gift. Find a way. Find a way to improve yourself. All night there have been, idiots coming into the chat trying to rile me up, and they failed. It's called experience. You learn after a while. Because when I look around and I look at all of this stuff, I look at what my dad taught me. I look at all them collectibles. I look at the very jersey I'm wearing. I'm at that point in my life where, and they'll all bitch, moan, whine, and complain. Well, fix it. Whatever it is that's fucked up, fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Like I said, every time somebody's tried to fucking derail my life, I always come out on top. And like I said, I got the paperwork to prove it. Like somebody tried to rub it in my face here on the channel, in the chat, trying to slander me, but yet here's the most recent example of that. Whoops. Fail again. Another fail. Failures are failures are failures. And I feel sorry for a lot of people out there who fail. I really do. I feel sorry for a lot of people that can't accept their own fucking flaws. Embrace your flaws, embrace your weaknesses, and turn them into strength. I have. I'm not going to sit here with my head tucked between my legs feeling sorry for myself. The best thing that I can do for myself is to sit here and talk about it and find like-minded individuals who have or are going through the same thing that I have gone through, and then you find kinship in all of that. I've had people call federal agents on me. That was a fail. I've had an illegal immigrant ex-girlfriend try to set me up. That was a fail. And I still press on. Touché. At least I don't have to look at it. Oh, shut up, Paul. Shush. Shush. What time is it here? Oh my God. 20 minutes after 1 a.m. in the morning. Wow. Well, once again, cheers, everybody. I might bring this live stream to an end. I think I've said everything I wanted to say tonight. But yeah, embrace your flaws, embrace your imperfections. When people try to hurt you, gain strength from it. When people hate you, stand tall and look them dead square in their eye. Look them dead square in the eye. Because you're doing something they can't. I need my pain. I need my suffering. It just makes me that much more stronger, makes me more grateful for every morsel of food I got on my plate. Doesn't it taste so good? The taste of sweet success. And people will hate you for that. When you're popular or you have more, you know what the old saying is, you know, those who have the most toys wins. I don't have to have expensive things to be happy. I don't have to have jerseys to be happy. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I know what my flaws are. There's still some bugs to work out in the machine, but I've accepted my design. This is what I have. This is what I have to work with. And yet I took what could have been a shitty day and turned it into something positive by me coming in front of the camera here and just, most people don't know how to do that. They're afraid to face their demons. They're afraid to look in a mirror. So what do? They default to fucking, you know, making themselves feel better by, you know, attacking somebody else. But meanwhile, you take a look at who they are. They can't see their beer bellies. They're misshapen. They're 3 feet tall. They got man tits. Tastes good. And tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow's Sunday. Actually, I should do some laundry tomorrow. I got 2 big baskets of clothes that I need to take care of. And I might prepare myself a little snack. Head into the bedroom. Hopefully, if it doesn't rain tomorrow, I got to take down all them Valentine's decorations. Whether or not I decorate for St. Patty's Day and for Easter is still up in the air yet. But once again, thank you to my eBay customers. Thank you to my friends, family, neighbors, YouTube supporters, subscribers, everybody across the board. You are absolutely amazing human beings. Everybody else just got no use for them. And they'll hate you for that. They'll hate you for that. When you can actually grab that's why people have come after me in the past. That's why I have all that legal paperwork over there and over there. You know, it's going to happen. It's happened before and it'll happen again, where somebody again is going to try to say or do something dumb to try to throw me over the fucking edge or throw me under the bus or stab me in my heart. At this point, when a person has so many scars like that, you wear it like a badge of honor. I'll drink to that. I don't call it being arrogant. I call it being pragmatic and realistic. So, with all that being said, folks, I've been here yapping for, over an hour, hour and a half, maybe more, 2 hours, give or take. I don't even know. I lost track of time. Jeez, let me see here. Yeah, this says 2 hours ago. Let me do a quick refresh here. And then I might call it a night. Yeah, over 2 hours now. There's something seriously wrong with YouTube. Or maybe it's just my YouTube. Actually, I've been having problems with YouTube because I had my VPN on. And it wouldn't allow me to watch anything on YouTube. And right now I'm trying to refresh it and it keeps crashing, which is weird. Okay, now it's back up again. Fix the tab slowing your browser. Okay, that's weird. So, all right, folks, I think I'm tapped out for the night. And I think this is class number 3. Thank you to all of you that have helped this channel to grow. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you to my eBay customers. I really appreciate you folks. Again, I got 2 orders sitting right there. Ooh, excuse me, and I'm sure there'll be more. I can tell that wine is definitely good in my system because I'm actually starting to get a little hot. Wine does that. Actually opens up the blood vessels and makes you feel a lot more relaxed. I'd rather drink wine than beer any day. Beer is just, it fills you up, makes you pee a lot. But, you know, even a lot of doctors, my doctor even said it too, a glass of wine before bed would knock you out like nothing. So I can feel I'm definitely going to sleep good tonight, even though I slept for a couple hours this afternoon. But anyway, folks, live the best life you can. Do what you can with what you got. Not everybody, you know, not everybody is rich. Not everybody, you know, is fast. Not everybody has muscles. Not everybody's strong. Use your gifts. Use what you got. Find an advantage in your disadvantage. As for me, life goes on, man. Life goes on. And with everything I've ever been through, all it's done is just make me that much more wiser and much more stronger. There will be people that hate you. There will be people that want to see you fail. There'll be people that will always default, oh, look at his head, look at the pimples, oh, look at that, and this and that, and bullshit. You know, oh, we saw that thing, so therefore he is that thing. You're going to find everybody that does that kind of shit. That's the way the world works. Human imagination. And it's just like it's the one thing that Ben Shapiro said, facts don't care about your feelings. It's one good thing that he actually said. People will fucking hate you when they can't get to you. And then when you flex in front of them, it just pisses them off even more. And I will have that big smug smile on my face until time immemorial. Live your best life. And I turned a negative situation tonight into something positive. You know how much better I feel? Just airing out. Many of you have been on the same page. Well, of course, you're going to have your assholes. It's the internet. That's how it works. But after that, life goes on. And I can't be stopped. Have yourselves a good night, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.